This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura Integra for only $289 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura RDX for only $399 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices. South Florida, listen carefully. Osmani Garcia with Omega Realty Group is changing the game. He's not just listing homes. He's guaranteeing to sell yours in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it himself. No excuses, no delays, no fine print games. This is real. If you're serious about selling, call 305-440-1990 and see if your home qualifies. Osmani Garcia delivers results. Osmani Garcia, the home of the 30-day sale guaranteed, where guarantees are backed by action. Call now, don't wait. This market won't wait for you. Restrictions apply. Call 305-440-1990.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Loving it. How you feeling? How you feeling, Panther fans in South Florida and everywhere else in the world? I figured, why do a show on Monday, right? Let's do one tonight, and then I'm off Sunday and Monday. We'll take Monday off, have a great Memorial Day out there. So I figure, so this is our / Saturday, Monday show, technically, is what it's going to be. And so we'll obviously talk about this amazing win because, remember when they took the 2-0 lead on Tampa and then they came back and didn't play well, and then all this kind of stuff, you always wonder if complacency will set in. And the other thing that's going on is there's a couple of guys have gotten bumped. You didn't have Rhino, okay? Mikola, who had 2 goals today, went into the boards. It looks like it was his right shoulder, right arm, something like that. Adam Lichtenstein with the South Florida Sun Sentinel is in the locker rooms. He's gonna check in with us when he's done. So it's gonna be a little bit. So we're gonna be on for a little bit. In other words, there's gonna be a show for a little bit here. So we'll hopefully wait for Adam to do his thing, and then he can call us and he can tell us everything in the locker room that went on. So I will try to last till he can. But anyway. And what's really important, okay, this is the part that really matters out of everything, okay? You've taken a 3-0 lead. You've broken their will, okay? There's no doubt they know now it's insurmountable. They took an ass whooping on their own ice for the first 2 games, and then today you whooped their ass again. They hung in there for a while because they knew you knew you were going to get their best tonight. Okay. Why? This was the only game they in order to get back into this series, they had to win this game. Losing this, it was over officially for them. Okay. So game 4, you should finish them off on Monday with no problem. If you come in focused like you did in this one, everything will be fine. Okay. But here's the important part too.
Now we hope that the Dallas Stars, Edmonton won last night. Huge. We got to go. That's how we want it. That's how we want it. Okay. Now they go back to, what is it, Edmonton now for 2 games. You want them to split that too. You want them 2-2, and you want a 3-game set. You want this thing to go to 7, as many overtimes as possible. Now that Reinhardt is banged up, apparently it's a lower leg injury. It's day to day, so it's not considered serious. So you don't need him in this game. You don't need him on Monday. You don't need him to finish these guys off. Mikola got banged up. You saw Greer got banged up now too. Okay, so hopefully none of them are serious. But if you eliminate them early in 4 games, you're probably going to buy yourself a couple of extra days of rest before the Stanley Cup Finals, and those teams are killing themselves, and you can get those guys healed. So there's a lot of positives to it, and there should be some incredible motivation to finish these suckers off, on Monday, because you want that other series to just extend. You know what I'm saying? And Carolina, they're gonna get a little dirtier because they can't hang with the Panthers. The Panthers are, when you're physical and you're skilled, it becomes a real pain in the ass for teams to deal with it, because it's hard for them to attack you. You know what I mean? Because they can't outskate you and they can't out-physical you. I know that's not necessarily a word, but you know what I mean. And so the either way, and so if you try to play the bully game, they're like, what are you doing here? And if you think you're going to outskate us, well, we'll find out who your guys are, and we'll shut those guys down, and we'll limit their offense, and then there you go. And that's what seems to happen in every series, one way or the other. Okay. Oh, you're a tough team. Okay. So then we'll duke it out, and then you'll end up winning in the end. Oh, you try to skate. Okay. We'll outskate you also, and we'll figure you out. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful to watch what goes on with the Florida Panthers now. I'm telling you, it's amazing. By the way, we do want to remind you, while we're working late at night, you can support our show by hitting the hell out of that like button. It's very important so other people can get the algorithm and get on board. So, we talk all sports here, not just one sport, not just sports, life, everything. So if you can, hit that like button. You can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and you can use those QR codes right there, Cash App or Venmo. Use the QR codes. We appreciate that immensely. If you're out of the country, I know it's hard to use Cash App or Venmo, so we have a PayPal. You can also make a donation through PayPal. We always encourage there because we get 100% of the donations. We love the super chats, like I see Man of 1,005 holds, but stinking YouTube takes 30%. So, they kind of make enough. They don't even pay you shit for views and stuff. You don't live off the views unless you're getting millions and millions, and that's not us. So, donations, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Chainlink too. You can make those donations also here on the show. So we appreciate you all out there as always. Thank you. And yes, we have the Eiffel Tower back. We've got the background back, because I left the curtain down, the black curtain, for a while. I haven't had anything. Although the Panther sign you can barely see it right now. So, and then, obviously fixed a little bit more lighting here, in the whole deal. Man of 1,005 holds. Thank you for the love in the super chat. Warning to Carolina. There is a storm called Panthers, listed as a category 5. There will be a lot of hits and goals. Proceed with caution.
Thank you, man of 1,005 holds. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's absolutely beautiful to watch the domination of the Florida Panthers. Ray Martinez, thank you, sir. Great sponsor of the program, great supporter of the program. He goes, don't know hockey, but wow, amazing performance. Go Panthers. Yeah. That's our Panthers. They are special, man. They are special. It's super cool to watch. And thank you for the donation on Cash App or Venmo. There was on Venmo. I appreciate that as always. It's just, I told you, embrace this. They're one win away from the third straight trip to the Stanley Cup Finals. The Heat did it. They won 2 of 3. The Dolphins did it. They won 2 of 3. The Panthers have a chance now to do it and win 2 of 3. And by the way, here's the difference. The Dolphins were destroyed by the whole World Football League crap when Zonka, Kick, and Warfield, was it? And so it kind of hurt them, right? It broke up, and they were still good, but obviously you lost some really big, like, monster pieces, and it hurt the Dolphins. And then you look at the Heat. The Heat was able to go to, well, actually they went to 4 straight, but they lost the bookends of it, right? And they were kind of running out of gas. This team's not running out of gas. This team can win the Stanley Cup this year, and they can challenge for the cup easily for the next 2 more seasons. They have, if they can win it this year, then we can start talking about the D word. Okay, let's not get into the D word right now. Let's leave the D word out of the conversation, because you first got to win 2 before you start getting to 3 and 4. That's when you can start talking about the D word. So we'll stay away from the D word there, because it's hypothetical bullshit. Let's wait till they get it done now. But I mean, dude, it is absolutely awesome. John Wayne's 45. Thank you for the love in the super chat. He goes, Big O, we need to enjoy this. Dolphins, take notes. Oh, forget about it. The Dolphins aren't even close to these people. They're not even close. Not even close. They don't, from top to bottom, these people, from ownership, front office, coaching, players, culture, they know what the hell they're doing, all of that stuff. The problem with the Dolphins is they want to try to turn the corner and become opposite of what they were, and they can't do that right away. The Panthers did not become a tough team overnight. It took them a couple of years to turn the culture over, because they were soft also. And that's the beauty of, John Wayne. By the way, I don't know if you guys know about this, but the brand new Billy Idol album has a song that's called John Wayne in it, and it is effing excellent. Okay? It's effing excellent. Just want to say that. Sid, you reminded me of John Wayne's 45. I'm like, man, I really like the new Billy Idol album. Like the first 6 songs, I'll say I like them, and like 5 of the 6 I really like overall. But John Wayne is one of my favorite songs in that album, actually. That one is actually really, really cool. What's the other one? Too Much Fun, I think, or something, or like Before I Die or something. That one, I love that song too. Billy's coming up with some really good music still later on in his years. But, the Dolphin take note thing, it is, hey, look here. They were a soft franchise. We used to play the Meow Mix song for them. A couple of years back, 4 or 5 years ago on this show, we used to play the Meow Mix song, which was meow, 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 meow. If you're old enough, you know what I'm talking about. That was my theme song for the Panthers, because they were so soft. Like the Dolphins, like the Heat now. The Heat are a soft franchise now, too. They get pushed around easy. They're not really tough and key moments and shit like that. And that's the beauty of this team. That's why I keep telling you. I'll repeat it now on a Saturday night where maybe some of you haven't heard it. I'm 58. I'll be 59. I was a child. I was 7 and 8 when the Dolphins won their Super Bowls. I was a young man when the Canes won 4 of their 5 titles between 83 to 91. Okay. I was, an adult later on when the Marlins won 2 World Series in 6 years. I was obviously an older man when the Heat won 3 titles between 06 and 13. None of that shit ever repeats. And I'm 58. It happened once in my lifetime. That's it. This will happen once in my lifetime and will probably happen once in your lifetime. So whenever this run ends for the Panthers, remember, we get drowned in all this. Oh, no. Yeah, no. Don't trade Xavier Howard. He's going to have 10 interceptions every year. No, it happens once and it's over. Oh, no, hold on. Ricky Williams had 1,800 yards. No, let's hang out. No, it ends. Oh, Tyreek, back-to-back 1,700. It ends. Marino lit up the world. It ends. It all ends. Everything comes to an end. Dwayne Wade will fall 8 times, 9 times, and then the 10th, and he won't get up. And that's just kind of the way it goes. So embrace this. Enjoy the hell out of this. I keep repeating this because this only happens once in your lifetime and in my lifetime. We don't ever get to see it again when they're on this run where they win multiple championships. Maybe they return and win a championship. Like the Canes did like 10 years later in 2001. They won 1. We could argue they should have won 2 if it wasn't for the refs, but that's a whole other conversation, another show. But the point is, embrace this. Because this is special. This is Dolphin special, like 70s Dolphins, not anything else. This is Big 3 special. This is Canes 80s, very early 90s special. That's what this is. This is one of those special teams that goes right up there with those 70 Dolphins, those Canes, the Big 3, right there. The Marlins don't because it's like 2 different teams, but we're lucky that we've got 2 World Series titles in 6 years. I mean, thank you, sports gods. You know what I'm saying? We got the worst owners since Huizinga, and we got 2 titles. And thanks to Dombrowski building the 03 team in 97 off the fire sale. So it only happens once. Do you think we'll ever win a World Series again? Never. We're barely even going to make the playoffs, much less win 2 World Series titles in 6 years. And if we have real owners, we could have kept the 97 team. They would have challenged in 98. Right? Because they weren't a long-term team because they were old, but you could have challenged in 98 with that team. And the 03 team, you could have done something to keep them around another year or 2 or 3 because they were young. But again, takes ownership, all that kind of stuff. Look at Inter Miami. They got billionaires, and look at that experiment. What a disaster it is. Right? Jorge Mas has got billions, just like Vinny Viola. Okay, but there's a difference. One guy went and got the best player in the world, whatever, top 3, top 5, whatever. And he brought in all his buddies, and they're spending way more than anybody else in the league. And they're a middling team now. They haven't won shit. They're not doing anything except making money. That's all it is. That's all Inter Miami is. It's a money grab. You look at Vinny Viola and Sifu and company, they have built a real monster that will dominate for years and will leave its mark here. It's really cool. It's really cool. So you're watching just hockey history too. It's really, really cool. John Wayne, again, thank you for the love on the super chat. He goes, I'm 50, and you're 100% right. These things don't happen often. That's why I pay $200 for a Panthers playoff ticket, because they have cojones, and I like teams with balls. I'm with you there. Did you hear about not Idol, but Billy Joe? Yeah, the brain. It's a brain disorder. They say it can be treated and it can be corrected. So there's hope that, they can fix the disorder that's going on with Billy right now. So let's not write the piano man off yet. You know what I'm saying? And he's like 75, I think. It's amazing how he's still going, man. God bless him. And, let's pray that he's able to fight through this. But it is treatable, at least. It is treatable. Treatable, manageable, I think I read. So let's pray for Billy. And let's hope that he's returning and able to, do his thing. What else we are? Chris Jordan says Panthers are too deep. Going to be tough to beat them. It's basically an all-star team. Yeah, they are, man. They're a stud team. They're a stud team. Lisa Rose, I see number 1. Steven Gonzalez, Les Jam, Crypto Fins, Michael Fernandez. Bring the brooms on Monday. Amen to that. We'll be on Tuesday. So, and by the way, we'll do shows for the Stanley Cup Finals, obviously. I was thinking about this, and I said, you know what, with Memorial Day on Monday, and a lot of people will be traveling on, why am I going to do a show so early in the morning? There's really not a lot to talk about except the Panthers. Okay. I actually do have a Dolphin topic, but that'll be at the end of the show. A really juicy one, a nice one, that, a positive one for people, so they can, in their Dolphin weekend, enjoy a little love. But that'll be later. Since I'm not doing a Monday show, I'll get into a little bit more talk towards the end, but not right now. What else do we have? Roderick says, what's up, Big O? Carolina's a good team, and the Florida Panthers is making them look like an amateur team. They lose 2 players and still beat the stuffing out of them. Yeah. This is a special team, man. That's the thing about it. This is a special team, and that's why I say you got to, enjoy it. I see Daniel Berry is in the house. Rosendo, thank you out there. Juan Rosa, thank you. Ian, well, let's see. Have to close these clowns out and get some rest in hell, says Daniel. I think they will, Daniel. I think they will. I'm pretty sure the Panthers will do that. I was concerned of how good the Hurricanes are. I've changed my mind. I don't think the Oilers or Stars can beat the Panthers. I think the Stars are the best matchup for the Panthers, like the toughest one. Now, the Edmonton one will be tough because you already beat them last year, so that's going to be kind of, a little like they'll be jacked to try to get the revenge and pumped. Whereas I'd like to face Dallas because it's even though I think Dallas is a little better than Edmonton and a better matchup for Florida, it's also cool to beat a different team for the Cup. You know what I'm saying? So Eric Scott says, Big O, this team is fun to watch. You can tell it's a tight locker room, the way they stand up for each other. Carolina let their stars take punches from Benny and Chucky, and they did nothing about it. I think they're beaten down, dude. I think they're intimidated. These guys try to be chippy today, and it just didn't happen. Barkov, by the way, had 2 goals and an assist. Boquist had a goal and 2 assists. Kachuk and Rodriguez had 2 assists each. Nico Mikola, by the way, also had 2 goals in this game. Bob was outstanding, and that's part of the trick here, folks. Bob had 23 saves, and you need great defense in front of your goalie. But there's going to be times where you're going to give up an odd man. You're going to make a mistake on defense, And your goalie cannot be susceptible to giving up a goal every time there's a hiccup on defense. He has to come in and make some badass saves. And that's exactly what Bob has done. Most of the breakaways, he stones them. And to me, that's part of like, okay, this is the reason why you're also winning. When back in 96, which is one of our reference points locally here, you weren't very good offensively. You were very good defensively, okay? You clutch, you grab, you did whatever you can. You threw your bodies in front of the pucks. You did everything and anything to defend. Plus, Beezer would not allow you to score. Like, he was amazing. And let's give Bob some love. He's been amazing. Not only have the Panthers scored, not only have they played defense, not only have they been physical and intimidating and sacrificial on everything that they have to do. They will block pucks any way that they can, all of that shit. But when there's a slip up, Bob is there to clean it up practically every time. And to me, they're unbeatable that way. I don't know how you beat them if they're rarely going to make mistakes defensively. And when they do, Bob will clean it up. And then offensively, they will put so much pressure on you that it just becomes like baffling, you know? Okay, how do we solve this enigma? This Rubik's Cube. That's kind of what teams are saying. Okay, well, how do we attack these guys? Oh, okay, we'll get physical with them. We'll try to get in their heads. No, I'm not going to do that. We'll try to intimidate them with our speed. No, not going to do that. So unless you run into a goalie that is all world and is on an amazing run, and then they also possess the physicality and the skill of the Panthers. In other words, a mirror of the Panthers. And I think that team, by the way, got old. It's the Tampa Bay Lightning. That was the team. It was in your own conference. It was in your own state. It was Michael Jordan's Detroit Pistons. For those of you that don't understand, in order for Michael Jordan to break through, the team that was in his way was the Detroit Pistons and the Bad Boys. They were the physical, they were the intimidators, they were the best at that moment. They had taken over from right after the era of the Celtics and the Lakers. And Jordan, in order to become Jordan, he had to go through the gauntlet of the Celtics, of the Lakers, of the Detroit Pistons, especially the Pistons. And once he crossed that, he became the guy. Well, once the Panthers crossed the Lightning threshold, they became the team. They mentally got over the hurdle of the Lightning being the big brother, one of the best teams in the league, one of the elite teams, great players, great culture, all of that. Mad respect for Tampa. Mad respect for Tampa. Okay? Because they did it the right way and they have maintained it. And they maintained it as long as they could. And what were we just talking? Let's bring it back. Let's bring it full circle. It all comes to an end. It all comes to an end. It just doesn't continue. Now, only the Patriots kept this shit going for 20 years, which is unheard of. Forget it. That's once in many lifetimes. Okay. I mean, the last time was it the Celtics that were winning all those championships back in the day? I mean, it just, that just doesn't happen. it all comes to an end. Tampa was that team. And wasn't it the best thing in the world? Because if you don't have Tampa, you don't have the blueprint. And so it was right in your backyard. It was right in your state. It was staring you in the face. And they said, shit, dude, if we're going to win this, we got to go through these mother effers. These are the guys. We're not afraid of anybody else in the league. These are the fuckers. And that's exactly what the Panthers did. They figured out those guys on the West Coast, and it's over since then. It wasn't about Boston. It's not about Carolina. It's not about the Rangers. It's not about none of these teams. They're not. The bitch was Tampa. Tampa. That was the lesson. That was the hurdle. That was what you needed to really embolden you, to make you what you are today. It's really cool. It's really cool. So this is why you got to admire this franchise, these owners, the front office, the coaches, Paul Maurice, Jesus Christ, and then the players. There's no Jimmy Butler, I'm going to go to a goddamn tennis match and then I'm not going to go to work the next day. There's none of that shit. There's no Tyreek Hill driving at 60 miles an hour to a game and getting in trouble with the cops or anything like that, or all the stupid shit that goes on. None of that. There's no overpaid superstars hanging out in commercial boulevards stealing Jorge Mas's money. Okay? None of that shit, bro. You got guys that bring the lunch pail and they want to play. And if it's game 1 of the regular season, if it's game 34 of the regular season, or if it's game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals, those dudes play the same way. And in basketball, oh my God, to get these guys to actually show up for half the season is a miracle. Plus, they don't even play defense anymore. They don't even try. Embrace the shit out of this, dude. Embrace it, top to bottom. You don't get, this is a real sport. These are real people. They're actually like you, like your mom, like your dad, like your grandfather, like your brother, your sister. You know, those hard workers? Same guys. They're pros. They're not bums like Jimmy Butler, stealing money, un descarado, as we say in Spanish. Messi and Suarez and Alba, and they're getting paid a ton of money, bro. These guys were world-class players, and they come here, and they're getting smoked by the MLS. And they get their own guys here, their own coach, their own general manager, everything. The Moss brothers have given them everything. And look how they reward them. You give everything to Tyreek and Jalen Ramsey and all these guys, and look how they reward you. You give everything to Jimmy Butler, and look how he rewards you. You give everything to Kachuk and to Barkov and to Marchand and to everybody that comes, and look how they reward you. Telling you, man, this shit is special, man. This shit is special. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, which you know those things kind of get me excited a little bit. If you make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, as always, Ralph the Ace, thank you, sir, for the super chat. He says the Cats have what lots of teams don't: killer instinct, no let up. Other South Florida teams take notice. Yeah. I think everybody in South Florida we look at the Panthers and then we go, oh, shit, dude, how come the Dolphins can't be like this? How come the Heat, they used to be a tough team. Riley used to bring a tough attitude. There was an Alonzo Mourning, there was a James Posey. There are guys that could play defense. LeBron James, Dwayne Wade's one of the great team defenders of all time. Bosch could play defense. Battier can play defense. Like, you had guys that could play defense. Throughout the history of the Heat, they can't play defense anymore. What the hell's going on? They can't even get stars anymore. There are no stars in the Miami Heat. None. The Panthers littered with them. Littered. Crazy shit. Littered with them. That is impressive, man. Impressive. By the way, let me give you a little bit of news, too, around. The T-Wolves beat the Thunder 143-101. So now OKC leads 2-1 in that series. Inter Miami and Philadelphia, and local news here, they played to a 3-3 draw. Birmingham Legion FC beat Miami FC at Pitbull Stadium 2-1. And Fort Lauderdale United kept their playoff dreams alive with a 1-0 win against Dallas Trinity FC, which was their last home game of the season. They've got one more road game next week, and playoffs are on the line for them. Tomorrow will be the Knicks and the Pacers. And the Pacers leading 2-0 in this series after winning both games in New York as they choked like dogs. Pacers are favored by 2 at home. Over and under is 223. Plus 114 for Knicks on the money line, and Pacers minus 135. Excuse me. Yeah, isn't Wade one of the best shot blocking two guards? Yeah, like I said, he's one of the best team defenders of all time. All time. It's just, it doesn't matter, whatever. Dan Marley, I mean, it's just, we could go through it. For many years, they could get guys that could play defense. And I don't know what's going on, man. Soft team, too. To me, that's the most embarrassing part about the Miami Heat under Pat Riley's watch, is that they've become a soft team. There's no real mental toughness anymore with that team. And that is something that kind of bothers me. You know what I mean? Not like what you're watching with the Panthers, that no matter what, you're worried, hey, are they going to come in focused? Here they are. Are they going to be, relentless? Like Ralph says, killer instinct, no let up? Yeah, no, there it is. It's impressive, dude. It's impressive. And the fact that every time they're backed into some kind of corner, they find a way to respond. That's freaking impressive, dude. It's just, this is why they're a championship caliber team. I mean, it gets to a point where we're going to get arrogant, cocky, and confident, because they keep coming through, and they're about to make their third straight Stanley Cup Finals. When they made the Stanley Cup Finals, and I was covering it, I was in those locker rooms back in '96, we went ballistic in this town because, we were only removed a couple of years from the expansion. So for us to be an expansion team just a few years ago and to be in the Stanley Cup was a great story. And totally upstart, a lot like the Heat was with Jimmy Butler and those 2 trips, that they were upstart. They weren't like real legit championship caliber teams. That was the problem. Too many Heat fans got drunk on fake confidence, thinking that they were somehow legit or something. And they didn't look at it that was just a fluky run. It's not like what you have here. This is legit. This is real. What goes on with the Heat, that was fluky. It was great. It was fun, but it was fluky. There's no real substance behind that shit. You just needed the stars to align, things to fall in place. These guys make it fall in place. They intimidate their opponent. They outscore their opponent. They drive them crazy. Tkachuk does not shut up. It's awesome. He doesn't shut up. It's crazy. The guy is a beast. He doesn't give up. He's relentless. And you and I know Tkachuk is not playing at 100%. That's the other thing. If he was playing at 100%, okay. It might be even scarier. Think about it. They're losing some guys here, and they are just trucking along. Now, we hope that, Rhino can come back for the Stanley Cup Finals, that the Mikola injury is not serious, all those kind of things. Let's hope for that, because obviously that we need that in a big time way. But it's impressive how deep this team is. Shout out to Florida. It's about to be, I believe, 7 straight years or 6 Florida teams being in the Cup. And eat that, Canada and Northern teams. LOL. I got to tell you something. I think Canadians are fantastic people. So I kind of feel bad for them because they're such decent people. But man, it's got to be pretty hard for what's it called, for Canadians to deal with, the issue now of, man, like, it's their sport and they don't get to enjoy the ultimate prize. In fact, they never get to enjoy the ultimate prize. It's crazy that Canadian teams aren't, and it's not from a lack of trying, but it's just, it is crazy. I don't wish them any ill will or anything like that. I think Canada is a fantastic country, and I wish nothing but the best for them. But yeah, it is kind of interesting how that has kind of worked out for them. Big O, is it true that there's been a lot of rumors for the Miami Heat to go after Kevin Durant? Dude, why do you guys do all that stuff for you? Seriously, Ricky. I'm going to talk mostly Panthers, but just for, again, why are you delusional? First of all, why would you want to trade for Durant? Because that you barely have anything. Whatever you have to give up for him, and you won't have enough to win anything. And he's old. He's 36, 35. So, first of all, they're not going to get him like they never get anybody. Okay, and they won't get anybody big again this year. Just let me prepare you, Ricky. They have no ammunition. They don't have players that people want. What they have cannot bring them a star. They don't have enough picks or players or a combination of to bring them any kind of star. So, and if they can bring any kind of a star, if they actually could, they would have to trade the entire franchise for it. And they'd be left with nothing except a star, which then you can't build nothing. So the problem with a lot of Heat fans is too many of you are effing delusional. You refuse to look at the reality of where we're at. You refuse to realize that Riley and company have screwed up so much in the last 10 years. They have put themselves in a terrible position. And whether he likes it or not, you need a full reset. Whether, I know he doesn't like it because we're at the age he's at, but bro, you've won plenty of titles. Too bad. That's the way it is. And if you don't get to see the championship, or if I don't get to see the championship down the line, so be it, bro. But the best thing for the Miami Heat is to completely reset, not to have fool's gold of Durant or any other clown. And besides that, you're not a Durant away from winning jack shit. So, Ricky, I don't know, is it that you're delusional, or that you don't know basketball, or you don't understand it, or you don't really believe the position that the Heat are in. But nothing about this makes any sense. Nothing about it. Any Heat fan talking that bullshit is just filling time for the offseason. I get the writers. They have to write about this bullshit every offseason. And every offseason, they're all swinging and missing. But, hey, they're filling time, and they're making the Rickies of the world read this garbage and believe this garbage. They have no shot at stars, and they're at a stage that no star will help them. And it doesn't matter even if they acquire one. They will have nothing around the star. Those are their three options. Or take door number 4, reset the entire thing. And if you can trade Bam and Tyler, get as many picks as you can and start all over. That's what they have to do. And if they don't do that, I'm not interested in anything else the Heat do. Because anything else the Heat does is just garbage, and you're just putting it's what we do, with our government. We just print more and print more and print more and print more, and then we put ourselves in bigger debt and bigger debt and bigger debt and all that kind of stuff. So, that is, to me, the real issue in all of this. Let me see something a second. You know what? Do me a favor, folks. Hang in there with me. Give me 30 seconds so I can do something, because I've got to send something right now.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Thank you. As always, and I appreciate the folks at Welton Rayom. Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom, they know how to get it done. So if you do need lawyers that you can count on, trust me, those are guys that you could count on at Welt and Rayom. By the way, if you're a Panthers fan, Caneswear online, caneswear.com, or you go in person, use our code BIG010, you will get 10% off. They got a ton of Panthers gear. In fact, my championship hat from last year. You go. It's a beautiful thing. So you could get that at Caneswear, which is awesome. You could get Dolphins hats like this at Caneswear. Okay. Dolphins hat like this at Caneswear. Messi and the underachievers. Okay. They got all these hats were from Caneswear, and you could get 10% off hats, jerseys, shirts, sneakers, whatever it is. They've got anything and everything with a Canes logo on it, all that good stuff. Tell Brett that we sent you. Always mention our name when you go to Caneswear, man. It's very important. Very important. And please smash the hell out of the like button. Get us over 100. Get us over 100. What do we have here? The Heat's got smacked. The Heat's got smacked silly, and the Knicks fans are getting emotionally damaged. Yeah, the Knicks fans they're going at it. They're struggling. I don't either, but it's crazy that they always beat us in the Worlds. Don't get it, but I'm happy to ride and enjoy the dynasty. Let's see. Durant, no thanks. Dude is breaking down like butter. If this is like 5 years ago, hell yeah. Now, no. And even 5 years ago, you trade for him and then you got nothing else because you have to give up everything. You have to give up Bam and Tyler and picks and all that. They're not just going to give you Durant. 5 years ago, are you kidding me? John says, also, I've been riding with you. While I trust you all you say, honestly, dream is to meet, to talk to you, talk fins, but you've been on point 100% on Bitcoin. What app do you recommend? Listen, just straight up for Bitcoin, just buy it on Cash App, man. Because you buy it at a decent price and then you move it for free. Or on Swan, your first 10,000, which I'm still getting my free Swan, your first 10,000 you buy is fee free, which I'm still at it. And then you always sending it is fee free. So you just got to wait a week. Whenever you buy it, it releases, it's unlocked a week later. Okay. That's just a little slow. The good thing about Cash App is you get it right away and you can send it right away, but it's not a big deal. You can wait a week. Nobody can touch it. It just doesn't get unlocked till a week. And then, it'll tell you the time and everything. It gets unlocked and you can move it right after the unlocked time. So it's not a big deal. I've done it myself many, many times and it's a cool thing. That's where I would do that. I would buy my Bitcoin there for the hell of it, because they're going to charge you a lot more on Binance and Crypto.com and Kraken, which again, those are fine sites to use it too, but they're going to charge you to buy it and they're going to charge you to move it. So gas fees everywhere. Whereas on Cash App, okay, they'll charge you a minor gas fee for buying, but no gas fee for sending. Sending, you have 3 options. You pick the bottom one and it's free. So that's what I would do. Okay. And good luck to you. Good luck to you. All of you that have gotten on the Bitcoin train with me for the last few years, you're as green as it gets, bro. You're greener than a Martian, if they're really green. Not sure. You're greener than the Dallas Stars lights on the stairs. And thank you for riding with me, John. Appreciate you, my friend. Okay. David says pressures to win the cup in Montreal and Toronto is very intense. However, that same pressure has not prevented the New York Yankees from winning. Well, the New York Yankees' real problem is, they're missing the old man. And the last championship was with the old man on his deathbed, pretty much. So it was kind of it was, that last Yankee championship, like the aura of the old man was just still left over at that point. It was just like it was dying. It's over. Let's bring the conversation back to the beginning. It all comes to an end. And it came to an end because of George Steinbrenner. That's what the Yankees are missing. That passionate mofo did whatever it took to win. Can you say that about the rest of the Steinbrenners? No. The Dodgers are doing whatever it takes to win. And they're winning. And the Mets are trying to do whatever because Steve Cohen will spend his ass off. But if you're going to compete against those people, well, then you gotta do whatever it takes. So whatever it takes is to get Brad Marchand. Whatever it takes is to get Jones. And they've been big and super helpful here. So you have to do whatever it takes. And you've got a GM here and an owner in Vinny Viola and Sifu that have an open checkbook. And then you've got a GM that right now has Zito has he's right now he's in a zone like when Tiger's in a zone, when Michael's in a zone, when SGA is in a zone, okay, when Caitlin Clark is stroking it and she's in that zone and she's firing it from everywhere. That's where Zito's at right now. He's got to feel he is punching every button, but at the same time, he's got an owner that's telling him, go for it, 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 go for it. And then the big names that you need to re-sign, let's sign them, let's sign them, let's find a way, let's find a way. It's freaking awesome, dude. It's awesome to have that feeling where all the buttons you're pushing are the right buttons. It's crazy, man. Really is. Riley will convince himself the East is up for grabs without Tatum next year. Giannis is the only star I'd give up assets for. Yeah, it's silliness. George Metalis, I'm sorry. And good to see you, George. Thank you for supporting us as always through the years. Last year, I waited till the Stanley Cup Finals to watch the Panthers, and they almost blew their lead against Edmonton. I don't want to jinx the Cats and bring them bad luck, so I won't watch Go Cats. Really? Is that how you do it, George? Wow, I can't do that. There's no way I could stay away from watching the Dolphins or the Heat. I'm expecting a shitty season from the Dolphins. I won't miss a minute. Not that I'm like excited, but I can't wait for football season. I hope they win every game. I'm going to be super hopeful. I'm prepared for the worst, but I can't stay away. I can't stay away at all. I stay away from the Marlins only because they're not even trying to win. Incompetence is one thing, or bad luck, or losing, or whatever. I can deal with all of that as a fan. It sucks, but I can deal because at least you're trying. Marlins, I can't forgive that at all because you're not trying at all. You don't really give a shit about winning. So I can't support that. So I can't do what you do. There's no way, George, I can do that. There's no way I can just stay away, and especially they're in the freaking Stanley Cup Finals. I get it, the whole thing, but no, I gotta watch. It's the Stanley Cup Final. It's not like a regular season game or something, or even, your team is upstart and they just, I don't know, like recently when the Marlins made the playoffs in that short season or whatever. Okay, they're not going anywhere really. They just got lucky to make the playoffs, and so if you missed that game, you think I could see missing that, but this is special, man. I just started the show with the whole, this is a once in a lifetime thing. No, I'm going to try to catch it as much as I can live. I don't know how you do it, George. God bless you, bro. There's no way I could do it. There's no way. Let's see. If you bring back George Steinbrenner, you must also bring back Billy Martin so he can hire and fire him. May he RIP him. And the Detroit Tigers gave me a chance in 2003 to pitch. Shoulder couldn't hold up. Thank you, George. Oh, wow. That's a cool story. All right, John. David says, Huizinga did everything to bring Shula and Marino Super Bowl. I will never forget the star-studded. Yeah, it wasn't Huizinga. It's just that at that point, free agency had come in and a salary cap and all that. And the old man was just a terrible general manager. That's all, dude. Don Shula was such a mediocre general manager. Mediocre. And that's, God bless you. Rest in peace. I love you. You know that. And he's the best of all time and everything. But Shula, the general manager, hurt Shula, the coach. That was our line in the 80s and into the 90s. And right now, it'll never change. It'll never change. It's the thing we sat there when you got David Overstreet or Eric Kumaro, or you traded for, Hugh Green and he blows out his knee, or you trade Anthony Carter for Robin Senline, or whatever it is, dude, Jay Brophy, and just Sammy Smith, and it was just, so it wasn't Huizinga, it wasn't even Robbie, it was Shula. One Shula lost Young, Beathard, and Thomas. Those were his three personnel guys from the 70s to right the early 80s, right at the beginning of the 80s. Once he lost all those guys, he was done. He was done. He could coach his ass off. He could try to make, he did a lot of what Belichick would do. Belichick sucked also. And Brady would erase a lot of his mistakes, and then he would find free agents from other teams that he could then bring over. And that's how Belichick even got by, because he sucked drafting, but he would then find free agents and guys that were already veterans, were a couple years in, so he got to see them in the NFL. And he was better at scouting that because they were already NFL players. So he goes, no, that guy doesn't fit there, but he fits here. And he was magical at that, and he found several guys that way. That helped him because it made up for the fact that he sucked at drafting. You know what I'm saying? And so that caught up to him finally, and Brady left. It all ends. It all ends at one point or another. And now he is completely pee-whipped by some 24-year-old. So I don't blame Huizinga. I don't blame Joe Robbie. I blame Don Shula, unfortunately, for the back end of his career and how it went, unfortunately. If we're going to be honest. Fans, since I lived here, curious your take. Do we trade Franz for Giannis? Nothing's Franz, by the way. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Trade. Orlando. Oh, yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah, if I'm Orlando, if I can trade one of my young pieces and several picks, yeah, I would. If I'm Orlando, yes. Yes. I'm confused now. Yes, thank you. Now I picked up on it. It's a magic question. Now I got you. Yes, I would. Definitely. Jay says, I can't miss a game either. Can't remember the last time I missed a playoff game. Yeah, no, there's no way. George says, when it comes to the Panthers, I'm irrationally superstitious. Well, dude, if you're helping us win, thank you for the sacrifice. I owe you a beer one day, George. If I see you anywhere, I will buy you a drink or a beer right away. Okay? Or whatever. You know, an appetizer. Maybe you're not a drinker. A Coke. Whatever. You know, a Perrier. I don't know. Oh, no, wait a minute. Something going on with those French products right now, right? They're getting sued, and apparently they've been messing with their springs and I don't know. Watch out with that. So whatever, we'll get you something. No doubt. Did you see Pablo Torre went to the Airbnb from the Ring Cam video? Hilarious. No, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what that is. Sorry. You got me there, dude. And I'm by myself today. No Sean. So I don't know exactly what's the deal there with that. What else do we have going on? By the way, tomorrow is Dallas Edmonton at 3:10. Okay. All right, let's talk a little hockey. Adam Lichtenstein is fresh from the locker room, ready to give it to us, baby. I love it. Give me 30 seconds, and we will talk to Adam Lichtenstein and get the latest from the locker room and this dominating win by your Florida Panthers.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welt and Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welt and Rayom can help.
All right. There he is, fresh from the locker room after a dominating performance. A.B. Lichtenstein on X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it. That's where I follow him. You can do it too. And, of course, catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel, always covering the Miami Hurricanes, of course. But you're on the championship beat, dude. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And hey, the Hurricanes beat never stops. I mean, I had to cover before the game started tonight. They got another commitment. So that never stops. But yeah, Panthers, definitely the most successful team in South Florida right now.
All right. You know, the one thing what's Mikola, did you see him in the locker room? Greer also looked like he was banged up a little bit. What can you tell us about some of the nicks and knacks that happened in the game?
I don't know about Greer. I didn't see him in the locker room, and I guess it's some people's mind, or people didn't notice it because they were furiously writing. So Paul Maurice didn't get asked about it, or about Greer, but he did get asked about Mikkola, and he said he thinks Mikkola will be okay. So very good news for the Panthers there.
Yeah,
he's been fantastic.
And let me tell you, Adam, one of the things that I started to show off, this all becomes also a blessing, because if you can finish them off on Monday, the beauty was Edmonton won last night, so now it's 1-1. And you hope to sit back and watch a 7-game series there, and maybe a couple of overtimes, and let them beat each other up. And if you can eliminate them on Monday, you give Mikkola, you give Rhino, Greer if he's banged up, you give them time. And just the Rhino thing also looks like he dodged something serious, because they said day to day that they're not going to, if it's something serious, they're not going to set themselves up for criticism by putting day to day, right? So
I don't think they would say day to day if it was like, he broke his leg or something, and he's out. Although if he broke his leg, you never know with hockey players, he might play anyway. I think Eetu Luosterainen played 2 years ago in the finals with like a broken shin or something.
No, dude, Kachuk had
had the sternum. It was the sternum. I think he had like a fractured sternum, because the hockey players are nuts that way. But yeah, I mean, so he said this morning that Rhino is day to day. So we'll see if he plays in Game 4. Hopefully he's healthy. But you're right. I don't think he needs to. Mikkola might be the same thing. And the funny thing is, you say, you hope they go 7. The Panthers can finish them off on Monday, get some rest, and that's conventional wisdom. You love time to rest, but I don't know if the Panthers really want that so much. They're rolling. They're playing every other day. They they come off blowing out Toronto in Game 7, and they just go fly into Raleigh and no breaks basically, and they've been beating the brakes off Carolina. So I don't think. I mean, yeah, if you want to rest guys to to make sure they're healthy, but like, I don't know if they're dying to, wait 8 or 9 days to play in the Stanley Cup final, assuming they do make it, up 3-0. So I think it's a safe assumption. But, assuming they do, I don't think they're dying to wait a week and a half to play.
I'm only saying it for the guys that are banged up, so they can get a couple extra days to rest. But I know what you're saying, because between Tampa and Toronto, they had those days, and then they came off and they went down 2-0. And it was like, oh, wow, hold on a second. They didn't come in too sharp. You know what I'm saying? And then against Carolina, they came in right away one day after, and Carolina was off for 5 days. So I kind of understand what you're saying, that, yeah, maybe it's better to have, stay sharp. But since you've got a couple of guys banged up and Rhino is so good, the beauty is this team is so damn deep, Adam. Holy shit, dude.
It's crazy.
Come on, bro. Boquist. Come on, bro. I mean,
we were joking. Some of the other writers were joking in the press box that Boquist is like plus 425 to score tonight before the game. And then, naturally he comes in and scores. Who needs Sam Reinhart anyway? That's a joke. Obviously, Sam Reinhart's incredibly good. But yeah, Boquist like comes in, steps up. Like, it's been the story of the whole playoffs. Like, I mean, they're so deep. I think they've had 18 players score. So basically, you don't include the 2 goalies, like 18 out of 22-ish. Don't ask me to do math, but nearly all the Panthers have scored. Nearly all the skaters have scored. In fact, Evan Rodriguez even got asked about it by Jordan McPherson from the Herald. Basically, like, are you getting any chirps from the other guys? Because Evan Rodriguez is one of the few players who hasn't scored yet. And he goes, no, I'm just saving him. So maybe he'll score, 5 goals in the Stanley Cup final or something.
Nate Schmidt will come up with some stuff. Mikkola today with 2 goals. I mean, that's the other thing. You're skilled. You have guys that can score the puck. And then you also have defensemen that are also a threat on this team. There's not a weakness, bro.
No. I'll tell you, I've been telling people this really since Game 5 against Toronto. The team, crossing sports here, but the team they remind me of are the early 2010s Nick Saban Alabama teams, where it's like, we're going to do what we do. You can't stop it. It doesn't matter. You just can't stop us. Like, when they're on, and they're not perfect. They lost those 2 games to Toronto. Like, they gave up, I think, 5 or 6 goals in a game to Tampa. Like, they're not perfect. It's hockey. You're going to lose games. You're not going to go undefeated in the playoffs and march your way through. But like, when they're on, they're just a buzzsaw. It's fun to watch because They destroy teams like on the ice. They destroy teams in the team's heads. It's crazy.
And I think as the playoffs have gone on, they've gotten sharper and sharper because, like, what was it, Tampa? Was it like the third game that after they took a 2-0 lead, the third game they were like flat in that game, right? Or something like that?
The first game at home.
And then they had the days off, and then they came out and they were flat like against Toronto, and then now this one they kind of came out right from the get-go, and they've gotten better and better as the playoffs have gone on, and they have been able to impose their will even more. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude, what is it like? It's 16 goals, right, in these 3 games?
16-4. And I think I'm trying to remember the exact order of goals, but I know the second Carolina goal in game 1 was in garbage time. The game was over. The last one for Carolina tonight was in garbage time. The game was already over. So it's like 2 actual like meaningful goals for the Hurricanes. It's insane. And like the Hurricanes are good. Like they don't look it against the Panthers, but this is a team that, heck, they dismantled Washington and New Jersey. And Washington, if I remember right off the top of my head, like they were the points leader, I think, in the Eastern Conference. Like Carolina's good, and they're just beating the hell out of them. It's insane. It's crazy. It's really crazy to watch because I think one of the first things I noticed in game 1 of the series in Raleigh was like there were some big hits and Carolina was feisty, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a series. Like this is going to be like I can't think of the word. Like this is going to be a good series, and then it hasn't been. The Panthers just taken over.
Well, here's the other thing, Adam. Bob,
incredible.
Right, and you really haven't run into a team because there isn't one. I was talking about this before you came on. There's not a team left that's as physical as the Panthers, as skilled as the Panthers, and then your goaltender is playing out of his freaking mind.
Mm-hmm.
You can have some of these teams that are good, and their goaltender's like a good guy. He's pretty good, but he's not like at Bob's level right now where Bob is playing right now. He's not lights out, and that's because there's breakaways now, and when those breakaways are happening, he is stoning most of them pretty much, and that is huge. When those
he's playing great.
Because the Panthers are capitalizing against other teams in those moments because their goalies are not performing at that level the way Bob is right now, too.
Well, and again, this is just crazy. Like Frederik Andersen coming into this series was the best goalie in the playoffs so far. Through the first 2 rounds, he was playing out of his mind. Had like a 132 goals against average, like which is by far the best of the goalies remaining. And they put 10 past him in 2 games, and they pull I don't know if they pulled him before he like the last. I don't know exactly, but they put up 8, 9, 10 goals against him in 2 games to the point where they pull him. And clearly, he's like Frederik Andersen was not the problem. Because the guy whose name I can't pronounce, like Peter something or other, I can't pronounce his last name. Who they started tonight, like he gives up 6. He's not the problem. It's the defense. It's
Kucherov.
It beats me. I can't pronounce it. I spelled it right, I think, but I don't know if I can pronounce it. But I'm not even going to try. But like clearly, the goalie's not the issue because you sub out the goalie and he still gives up 6 goals. He did make some good saves early. Like the Panthers had a lot of chances early that he made good saves on, and then again the Panthers were just relentless. And next thing you know, it's 2-1, it's 3-1. They scored 5 goals in 9 minutes. It is nuts. They were scoring goals so fast that the PA couldn't even finish announcing the last goal before they scored again.
Are they off tomorrow, or is it just treatment? They won't even practice tomorrow.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think they'll practice. I think they're just gonna get like treatment and stuff like that, and recovery and everything. And but yeah, I don't think they're actually gonna like practice tomorrow.
Anything else we miss, Adam, injury wise? Anything that you saw there you can update us on?
Injury wise, like we talked about Mikkola. Hopefully, looks like he'll be okay. Reinhardt, we'll see. AJ Greer, TBD. Like I said, he didn't come up in the post game. And then as far as like standouts, Barkov scored twice in like 3 minutes. And it's like the 8th most important thing that happened. Like he had a great game. It just like this team is a wagon. They are playing at another level. It's really fun to watch.
100%. He's definitely not 100%.
Oh yeah. I mean, he actually had some really. He didn't score. He didn't go on the score sheet tonight, but he had some really good moments. He had one.
Oh yeah.
He had some really good. He had one like some insane stick handling. That just that the Carolina goalie stopped.
Dude, I love the goal he scored in game 2. If you go look at it, the whole play started with him in a defensive play just outside the zone where he intercepts it and gets it back into play for his own team, and he's the one that ends up scoring.
He
so
also set up.
It's like 7-8 passes before the score, but he does get like a hockey assist. I know it's 7 passes later. Dude, if it's not for his defensive play, he doesn't score.
He did that with the Forsling goal too. He's the one who broke up a pass and got it to Forsling, who scored. So like, and that came up after the post game in game 2. Like I think both Barkov and Paul Maurice got asked like, oh, it's been 10 games since Chucky scored last, and they're like, really? That's been that long? Because like he even when he's not 100%, he's not scoring 8 goals in a series or something, or like single-handedly destroying a team like he did to Carolina in 2023. He's still doing a lot of things that contribute to winning. So even if he's not even in 80%, Matthew Tkachuk is still an excellent player.
He's finding a way to contribute one way or another in being a cog in the entire machine. Yeah,
and getting under people's skin and getting a 10-minute misconduct.
Everybody is willing to sacrifice their part on this team. It doesn't matter what it is to block a puck, a shot, to assist, to hit somebody, whatever it takes. And that's the beauty also. They're all willing to sacrifice for each other and do whatever it takes to get the W. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh yeah, I tell everyone I know, I'm like, jump on this bandwagon because it's a lot of fun. They're an incredibly likable team if you're rooting for them. If you're not rooting for them, they're an incredibly hateable team. But I'm like, this is a fun team. Like the personalities are great. Like there's a video going around from like the second intermission of like I think Marchand eating like Dairy Queen or something in the locker room. Like they're just a fun team. Like they're fun personalities. They play an enjoyable style of hockey, and they're just good. Like they're probably the best team in the NHL. They were last year. They probably are again. We'll see what happens, and as the playoffs end. But like they're just teams like this don't come around very often. No. I mean, especially in South Florida. And people should enjoy it while it lasts because it won't be forever. These players, these are all these players who are some of the best players at their positions in the league, and they're in their prime. Tkachuk, I think, is 27. Barkov's like 29, maybe. I don't know off the top of my head. But a lot of these guys, they're young guys. They're late 20s. They're all in their prime. They're all contributing. It's incredibly fun.
Yeah, and I think Dallas is the toughest matchup for them. Actually.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, Edmonton took them to 7 last year, but
it'll be tough to play Edmonton because you already beat them. So that whole thing, you have to go, beating them twice would be a challenge. But the Stars, I think, I think they're the closest to being as physical and as skilled as the Panthers.
And I think the whole Panthers press corps is rooting for Dallas because it's much easier to get to Dallas than it is to get to Edmonton.
Much better town, bro. Come on, much better town. So
I've never been to either, so I can't compare.
Yeah. Well, no, I've been to Dallas plenty of times. Yeah, I hope you end up in Dallas, bro. That'll be a lot of fun.
We'll see what happens.
On Twitter, by the way, and follow all of his Panther coverage because he's traveling. He's covering everything, practices, games, everything for the South Florida Sun Sentinel. A.B. Lichtenstein. And as always, Adam, thank you, my brother. Thank you for taking the time. And
of course. Thanks for having me. And thanks for nailing the pronunciation, too. You killed it.
Thank you. Alzagary, I try to help other people because I know mine's going to get butchered, too. All right, brother. You be good out there. Thank you.
Have a good night.
You got it. Have a good one.
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura RDX for only $399 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
I'm sorry. My bad. Sorry. They need to change their name, Hurricanes, by the way. Okay. And it's good to have Sergei Bobrovsky in the chat board there. I'm sorry. I did not realize I didn't have the mic going on. There we go. I fixed it. All right. What else do we have? Can I talk a little Dolphins just to switch a little gears here, and I'll get back to wrapping it up here with the Panthers and anything else. I see sometimes people talk about some things, and listen, whether we're expecting a good season or not, I'm not necessarily expecting a good season, but there are a lot of good things about the team. I do love their front seven on defense. Obviously their secondary is probably going to be a mess. They're going to depend on their front seven to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. I mean, Chubb and Phillips must stay healthy in a big time way. They're injury prone. Those two guys in Chop have to be really, really special this year because that's secondary. But I do love the front seven. I do. Even though I'm not a big McDaniel believer at all whatsoever, I do love Weaver. I think he's a fantastic coach, and he did the best he could and did a damn good job with no real pressure last year because he didn't have a lot of pass rushers, and poor Chop was by himself, a rookie learning, and nobody on the other side to help him and take some pressure off. This year it should change. So there are things to like about this team. There are things to be concerned. Even the offensive line depth. The offensive line, it looks like it has potential as the starters, but they still have to put it together. And, the depth of it is also kind of a question mark, right? There are things. Now, you got your top two receivers. You hope they come in focused and all that good stuff. But remember, a lot of people talk about the number 3 wide receiver. Let me tell you something. Chris Greer gave Mike McDaniel the best options he's ever had for number 3 wide receiver. And if you're Tua, as long as you got an offensive coordinator, which you really don't, unfortunately, that can help you, spread the ball around and all that good stuff. Well, it took him over a month to get Jonnu going. By week 5 is when he started really getting Jonnu Smith going. So that's going to be a number 3 option. But in the sense of the traditional number 3, Malik Washington comes back with a lot of experience from last year. He's tough. I love him, man. I know he had a little bit of ups and downs there, but he's a rook. He'll be fine. He'll learn. The Nick Westbrook, a kind kid, I love that pickup. He had shitty quarterbacks last year, and he caught 32 balls for 497 yards and 9 touchdowns, 60 targets, and he got 32 of them with a shitty quarterback that was probably off target on a bunch of those. He averaged 50.5 yards per catch. He's got a much better passer this year. If they give him time, this kid can make an impact. So can Malik. You have lots of options at 3. And then there's the Eskridge kid and Azukama. Who knows if anything happens with them? Remember the Taj Washington kid from USC. Okay, he was kind of flashing a little bit. He gets in the mix. And then you got the tight ends. Like I told you with Jonnu Smith. And then, of course, Julian Hill. Julian Hill's got a ton of talent. Now makes a lot of freaking boneheaded mistakes. Let's see if that's youth and inexperience, and we'll see if he gets through that this year. I know they signed the Farrell Brown kid, and we'll see, and Tanner Connor and all of that. But at least with Jonnu, that becomes another option. Then we'll see what happens. I think Farrell can be a better number 2 than anything you had last year. But the real wild card is Julian because he's got all the freaking talent to be a starter in the NFL. But again, he can't keep making all the stupid mistakes. So whether Monterey Baldwin or Andrew Armstrong, those undrafted, free agent wide receivers, I don't know. And then you've got the running backs. So Achane is going to catch passes. So if you want to look at him as another option at number 3. So if you got to go through 3 progressions, man, there's a lot of options to fill that number 3 and even number 4. If you start throwing running backs and tight ends and third receivers, you got options because Wright should be able to catch passes. Alexander Madison can catch passes. Oh, and by the way, the Ollie kid, he actually caught 80 balls in 3 years. And in his last 2 years, he caught 39 2 years ago and 29 this past year, 330 2 years ago, 179 last year, a touchdown each way. He averaged 8.5 yards per catch 2 years ago and 6.2 this year. So all of a sudden, the Ollie Gordon kid can also catch passes. You've got the number 3 option to number 4 for the Miami Dolphins is the best it's ever been. Now, it's up to the chef in the kitchen to make it all happen and make it come together. But if you are smart, you're not only depending on Waddle and Tyreek. That way you also, since they can't handle a burnout situation, you know what I mean? They got to take plays off and all that crap. You need to get all these people involved. You need to find out, okay, besides Jonnu, is there another guy here? Okay, we know you got the top 2 guys. All right, Malik, have you made that progress? All right, well then, where's the Icon kid, Nick kid? He's going to be, and he's a big target. Jonnu, big target. The Icon kid, big target. Ollie, big running back. So get these things involved also. Okay? That way you're also harder to tackle and you're bigger in those situations too, because your outside receivers aren't big guys. You don't want them taking punishment. So I just want you, because there's a lot of talk and sometimes even a concern about it. I actually feel really good about that. Okay. Again, I don't know. To me, it's all about the coach, and I don't buy him. But I buy the number 3 option for the Miami Dolphins. They've got a whole bunch of them. And 3 or 4, at no point should Tua, unless we get injury riddled completely, but at no point should Tua lack options out there. And at no point should that coach lack options to create things for everyone and for your quarterback. Give him options. Don't force him to throw to 2 guys on a consistent basis. And I think that's what they did in the front office this offseason. They gave him extra weapons so you can help the quarterback, but it's up to the head coach / offensive coordinator to design it properly so we can all have a good meal. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay? All right. Chucky is playing with barely 1/3 of his balls. Chucky is a beast. He is. What Kachuk has done this year is pretty freaking awesome, dude. And it just shows, because when you have the Jimmy Butlers of the world, you get to appreciate the Kachucks of the world. Let's just be honest. When you have the Tyreeks of the world, you get to appreciate the Kachucks of the world. Okay? Character people that give it their all. They agreed to their contract and they're done. There's no more whining about the contract. There's no more nothing. If they outplayed it or whatever, which happens. I think Lundell is severely underpaid. Luosterainen is probably severely underpaid. You know what I'm saying? I don't see him complaining. I don't see Bob demanding more money now because I've been playing great. Pay me more. No, none of that. No, appreciate all of this, bro. Appreciate every bit of it, because you watch the Dolphins and the Heat. and the buffoonery that you see going on with these players and the disrespect that goes on and the lack of appreciation of the owner, the money they're paying you, the fans that love you and support you and all that shit, they're the ones that should have the coffee shop and the apparel store, the players for the Panthers. Not this bum Jimmy Butler or this idiot Tyreek Hill. I hope both those places go Chapter 11. I'm sure both of them are not making money anymore. I'm sure both of them have to be fed money from the owner now. They probably aren't making enough money to pay for the overhead anymore. But I got to tell you something, dude. Appreciate this, because what's going on with the Panthers is as special as it gets. You know? Juan Rosa says, I wish we had caption option. That is funny. I like that. I like that. I like it. All right, folks, don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. Appreciate it. We will not be back on Monday. Okay, we'll be back on Tuesday. So Panthers play on Monday. Maybe I'll come up, you know what, Monday night when the Panthers eliminate, maybe I'll do a show. I probably will do a show on Monday night, late Monday night. That I can see myself doing, but I'm not doing anything Memorial Day during the day. So I am off Sunday. I am off Monday. I appreciate all of you out there for supporting this show. Please hit the like button whenever you watch this show, whenever you're watching. If you're watching right now before you leave, I love you all out there. We thank Adam Lichtenstein for joining us. We'll see you on Tuesday morning. Well, no, we'll see you. Well, Monday night, if the Panthers win and eliminate Carolina, I'll come on. If they lose, I'll just come on Tuesday. Okay, it's because it's not a big deal. 3-1, whatever. It's nothing major. You know what I'm saying? But we will see you probably Tuesday morning. Good chance late Monday night, but you will not catch me Monday morning. I'm going to sleep in, relax, and take off with the wife. Y'all be good.